With the recent 2025 revision of the Ram 1500, Ford was in a big conundrum, as their F-150 lagged behind it significantly. Its technology paled in comparison, and comfort levels, as well as general utility, were very mediocre, to say the least. Thankfully though, Ford acted fast, and as a result, we just got news about the revised and much improved new version of the much adored F-150. So let's not waste any time and check out how the all-new 2025 Ford F-150 shocks the entire car industry. A revised palette of engines. One of the biggest downfalls of the F-150 compared to the 2025 Ram was its engine palette. Sure, the 2.7 and 3.5 EcoBoost engines were better than that outdated Pentastar V6, and the 5.0 Coyote V8 was a very comparable engine to the 5.7 V8. However, with the release of the Hurricane Inline-6 engine, none of these engines could prove to be an equal match to it due to its unrivaled fuel economy, incredible power, and a generally simple design. Thankfully though, the 2025 redesign of the Ford F-150 is sure to bring changes to this department, as we will finally bid farewell to the 5.0-liter V8. In its wake will come a higher output variation of the EcoBoost 3.5, which will push out some odd 450 horsepower, making it more than competitive against the 420 horsepower Hurricane found in the Ram 1500. Not to mention that the 2.7-liter V6 is also most likely to get a little bit of an update to make it truly a force to be reckoned with, especially for the lower-end versions of the two trucks. It already has the poor old Pentastar beat when it comes to torque. However, now it will be a full-on massacre with its increased towing capacity. However, that won't be the end of it, as we can now expect a full-on plug-in hybrid, which will directly compete with the new Ram Ramcharger. Yes, these two are conceptually different because the Ramcharger is an EV with a range extender feature. However, they will more or less serve the same purpose. But will Ford have an answer to the high-output Ram 1500? Well, yes. You see, by bidding farewell to the 5.0-liter, we weren't exactly completely honest. Sure, the naturally aspirated version will most likely be axed. However, in its place will be an upgraded, supercharged version of the engine, which is expected to push out over 550 horsepower. While this might sound competitive to the 540 horsepower version of the Hurricane unit found in the Ram 1500, its torque figures will obliterate it, thanks to the fact that it is, after all, a V8 engine. And we cannot even start to explain how grateful we are that the V8 will persist. However, powertrains are only one part of what makes a big truck, which is why we're happy to announce that the F-150 now gets a fully reworked interior. One of the biggest downfalls of the F-150 compared to the Ram 1500 has always been its interior. Even when both models were pre-facelift, the F-150 was nowhere near the level of quality and finish compared to the Ram. And while that did improve with the 2024 model year, once the 2025 Ram 1500 facelift was announced, the F-150 was thrown back to the Stone Age momentarily. Thankfully though, Ford will completely redo the interior for the 2025 F-150 and allow the truck to rival the Ram 1500 with much more ease. This change includes a full rework of the center console, which will now house a larger vertical infotainment screen, similar to the one found on the freshly redesigned Ford Ranger. This will allow the F-150's cabin to feel much more contemporary, while also rivaling the Ram in terms of how good it looks. Not to mention that the quality of interior materials is something that will also change drastically for the better, as the F-150 will now have higher quality leather, better interior fit and finish, as well as a general aim of combining utility with design and luxury. This means that, despite the vertical screen, you will also have access to physical dials and buttons for features that require easy and fast access, such as climate and radio controls. A contemporary yet traditional exterior. What we most adore about the F-150 is how incredibly bulky and powerful it looks. If there's one part where it's, in our opinion, straight up better than the Ram 1500, it would undoubtedly be the looks department. Well, one would think that, after the F-150's refresh, which happened for the 2024 model year, there wouldn't be any substantial styling upgrades. However, believe it or not, Ford has refreshed the exterior of the truck too. Sure, These styling changes won't be image-defying, as most of the cars will remain the same. However, the car will have cleaner lines and a more elegant front for the higher-end models. Honestly, we wouldn't even indulge Ford to change more than that, as the truck now already looks extremely modern in all the right places, while also retaining that traditionally bulky, boxy styling at its core, and we truly adore it. Essentially, what Ford will have done to the F-150 is add a touch of the electrified F-150 Lightning's design touches, making the car look a little bit cleaner than it currently is. Honestly, we feel that no pickup truck could rival the F-150 in terms of styling, and we're glad that this facelift wasn't overdone. Good job, Ford! A wide array of trim levels and body styles. Another highlight of the F-150 is how incredibly customizable it is. Honestly, it completely outclasses the Ram 1500 in this regard, as, depending on the trim level, you'll be getting a truck that's both aesthetically different as well as serving a completely different functional purpose. For example, just take a look at how different the current F-150 Tremor is compared to the Lariat. Every panel on the car looks completely different between the two. The Lariat has that bold and elegant chrome front end with those fleshly fitted headlights, as well as beautiful 20-inch chrome wheels. On the other hand, the Tremor has a blacked-out grille with yellow details and an overall no-nonsense, borderline retro vibe going on for it. Oh, and the cream on the top is the fact that those are just 2 trim levels in a sea of others. Apart from that, you can choose between an 8-foot, a 6.5-foot, and a 5.5-foot bed, as well as choose between a crew cab, an extended cab, and a regular cab, making the choice pretty varied. Compare this to the Ram 1500, which only comes as a crew cab and has a 6'4" bed at the largest, and you'll see why the F-150 kicks its butt when it comes down to sheer utility and variety. However, does this variety and all the added features come at a hefty price? Pricing and trim levels. Well, believe it or not, no it doesn't. The F-150 will be quite a bit cheaper than the Ram 1500 when it comes down to the entry-level variations. For example, you'll be able to pick up the entry-level F-150 XL for around $40,000, which is some $2,000 less than what the Ram 1500 Tradesman goes for. And for the money, you'll be getting quite a bit of kit. Starting from a fully digital gauge cluster, combined with the aforementioned infotainment screen, albeit with a little bit less functionality than the higher trim levels would come. Also, this is a regular cab version, and the crew cab will start from an odd $43,000, making it more in line with the Ram 1500. However, you'll still get quite a bit more stuff with the F-150. But if those unpainted bumpers are bothersome to you, and who could blame you, you should go for either the STX or the XLT. The XLT is the better choice of the two, as it has a 360-degree camera and a blacked-out grille, as well as feels like a more finished product of the two. However, it will start at a little more than $50,000, which is why the STX might be better for those who have a little less money to throw at unnecessary kits. Next in line are the aforementioned Lariat and the Tremor, both of which will start at around $66,000. And honestly, you should go for either one you like. The Tremor comes equipped with 4-wheel drive as standard, as well as jacked up suspension. However, it skimps on interior features and quality, which is where the Lariat excels at the cost of 4-wheel drive. Both of these will come with the upgraded 3.5 V6 as standard, and the 5.0 supercharged will be an option. The range-topping King Ranch and Platinum are a tough sell though, as they start at $75,000. Which is perilously close to the Ram 1500 Limited and Longhorn, both of which offer better interior quality, as well as a more comfortable ride. That said, they are still well-built engines, with leather all across the board. However, we would give the edge to the Ram 1500 in this part of the lineup. All in all, if you don't care for appearances, just go for the XL. You'll get everything you need at a fraction of the price. If not, we'd recommend either the STX or the Lariat and Tremor. The STX is a solid bang for a buck, while also being a little bit stylish, whereas the other two just represent the sweet spot of the range. The plug-in hybrid version's prices remain unknown. However, we expect it to be competitively priced to the Ram Charger, which means somewhere in the range of $60,000 to $80,000.